next story is again around coming from a different place and being forced with a decision to kick yourself into gear. And sometimes those decisions are a hard decision to make. Please welcome Richard He.
Y'all ready for this?
How are you guys? Hey fella, how you going?
Good.
$9 an hour
Yes.
to getting the girl, eh? We'll
Yep.
talk about this.
Yep.
So Richard's also a platinum and done amazingly in the last little while there. So tell us about where you came from and what you did.
So my story started when I was in high school in China. In high school, we had a subject called politics and economies. So the teacher told us that there were two ways to make money. So the picture showed that is a textbook, pages of pages long, talking about the first way to make money. That is to use labor to exchange for money, such as working as an employee. And then the teacher told us that there was the second way to make money, that is to use capital to generate money. But that is just a tiny paragraph, talking about using such as renting out properties to receive rents or deposit money to the bank and receive interest. I was so excited about the second way to make money, and I asked the teacher to tell me more about that. And the teacher told me that, well, the second way to make money is not covered in the exam. So just don't waste your time. So just focus on the first way. I felt so disappointed about that.
So you went to university in China?
Yes, so I got accepted to a university in China, and I had no choice to choose my course to study in university. And I was assigned education as my major. So during that time, I still wanted to learn about real estate. And I met my girlfriend, Jane, and she told me that she wanted to go to Australia to do postgraduate study after she graduated. So I followed her. I don't come from a wealthy family, so I asked my parents to use most of their life savings to support my education in Australia. So I followed Jane to here.
So you come to Australia, followed her here,
Yep.
and which was great. And you then became international students over here.
Yep. So in 2007, with a luggage and about $5,000 cash, we came to Australia as international students. We live in a boarding house in Redfern with about 8 other students. We shared a dining table, we shared a kitchen. Normally they were quite dirty because no one wanted to clean them. Yeah. So we studied very hard because English is not our first language, so we had to spend extra hours until late in night to complete all the assignments. And so during that time, I still wanted to learn about real estate, but the immigration department decided that they only allow us to study a certain courses that will meet the demand of the Australian labor force. So I had to study IT if I wanted to stay.
Yeah, we're not going to stereotype again here.
Yeah.
So your first job was a $9 an hour job.
Yeah, so after 3 months, I arrived in Sydney to survive. I had to get a job. So this is my first job. It's in Darling Harbour. It's a food court. I believe the shop is still there. The job, what I did was cleaning, cooking, and serving the food. $9 per hour. I was so happy about that. Because 9 years ago, if I converted the $9 per hour to Chinese yuan, it will present a very decent income in the town where I grew up. So I was very happy. I worked very hard. That is my manager. I quickly became one of her favorite staff members. So on the day when I left this shop, She told me that, well, Richard, if you want some pocket money, you're welcome back here, even just for a few hours.
Something tells me that it doesn't matter what you do, Richard, you would do it with a smile on your face and be happy about it.
Yes.
So you graduated.
Yes, so we complete our 2 years degree. Then we got a normal job, normal income. Then we rented a apartment. So just for ourselves, it's not in a shared accommodation, not in a boarding house. So just for ourselves. See, we started to shop in IKEA to assemble our own furniture. We were so happy that
IKEA really brings couples together.
yeah.
What do you mean there's spare parts?
So no longer second-hand furniture, it's our furniture. We assemble them, very happy, and I thought that was a successful end of the story. My education finished, I got a job, I rented a place that's exclusive to ourselves.
So you thought that was it for you? That's it.
That's
I've
it.
done
Yep.
exactly what anyone
What
in
my
China.
parents
Yep.
expect me to do. That's it.
And all you were doing was following the 100 monkeys that Dipna talked about this morning, because, and seriously, that's all you're doing. When you're surrounded, and so now you're in this process of going,
Yep.
okay, this is what my parents did, they turned up at work, they're happy, I have to do
Yep.
flat packs, but that's okay.
Yep.
And you then have a light bulb moment.
Yes, so one day Jane told me, Richard, I'm going to break up with you. Life is so boring with you. I don't see any future with you. I just don't want to be average here in Australia. You seem so satisfied with your current life. But I don't. I want to go back to China to pursue a new career. And I got my parents in China to look after. So I'm moving out. And goodbye. So that was a big shock for me, a really big shock. It triggered me to think, what future can we have in Australia? What future can I bring to Jane? And how can I get Jane back to me and even marry me? I had no answer. So,
Because one of the things that clearly in China, if you want to get married, you
Yep.
need something.
yeah, I need a house.
So, so it's Chinese tradition. There's the chance of actually finding a bride to marry increases if you've got your own house and your own property.
Yes.
And that's what you were. That was the way that you thought you could do that.
Yep.
So you thought I could keep Jane. Let's try and do something. So
Yep.
what did you do?
So I asked Jane, please give me a second chance. I will work on myself and give you the answer about our future. And at the meantime, please feel free to see other guys, but please just give me the opportunity to date you again. So Jane agreed. I helped her move out to a shared accommodation, and I moved into an apartment. And I took a flatmate in my apartment, and he gave me some property books. So I started to learn about properties. And I bought a 4-bedroom house to live in by myself. So at that time, I didn't know anything about property. So I hired a buy agent to help me just step by step how to buy a property. So I bought a home, but at that time I got very poor money management skill.
So you saw Dipna a few times at free events.
Yep.
And you know, there's a lot of people that I see that have got a lifetime membership to all the free seminars. Think about that. They're never going to sign up. And for you, the reason you couldn't sign up was because you had a huge amount of debt.
Yes. So as you know, I continue to pursue Jane. I spend a lot of money on gifts, holidays, and also trading forex. And actually, who signed up for Groupon? Subscribe to Groupon. Yeah, be careful. So every day I receive an email saying, dinner package Original price $300, now only $200. Yes, click buy. I just earned $100. And romantic holiday package, original price $3,000, now only $1,500. Yes, I click, bought it. I just earned $1,500.
How did you click it?
Just click.
Yeah, okay.
So I bought a lot of vouchers, and I asked Jane, I just got a voucher. How about we do this? How about we do that? So I spent a lot of money, and at the same time, I trade forex without any education. So it's like a video game. The accounts balance go up, 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 down, up, 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 down, oh, down, down, down.
Oh, it's fantastic.
So I didn't want to. So at that time, I didn't tell Jane that I had 5 credit cards with $40,000 back debt because I didn't want to lose her. It's my second chance. So
you saw Dipner and you decided finally to sign up.
Yes.
And you couldn't afford it, but you thought, I've got some guarantees there.
Yeah, I got 30 days guarantees and 12-month guarantee if I keep market activity journal. So I couldn't afford the whole the upfront payment, so I just signed on a monthly plan on my credit card.
So you go off to add to the 40. So you go off and your PPR.
Yeah, so I signed up for the program. I started with review with the strategist. So at that time, I knew I could build a granny flat at the backyard of my PPR. But I was advised that that was not the right strategy for me to do at that point in time. So I decided to sell it. With Michael and Sarah's help, I learned how to do vendor finance. I thought if I used vendor finance to sell the property, I could achieve a high price. So I advertised on Gumtree for vendor finance. And also at the same time, I listed on real estate and domain.com as a normal sale. So eventually, I got a very good offer from the vendor finance buyer, but there was a bidding war between the vendor finance buyers and the normal buyers. Eventually, I got the offer from the normal buyer because they overbid the vendor finance buyer. So in the end, I sold the property above market value, and I got $150,000.
So you had $150,000 to go off and invest.
Yep.
What's the first one you bought?
Yep. So this is the first deal up after Dipner. So this deal immediately wiped out my credit card debt. So I spent $8,500 to add a second bathroom to this house. It increased the value by $65,000. So after that, we actually moved out to rent somewhere else. But actually, this deal, I did it over a few years. And at the beginning of this year, I joined Platinum, and Dipner advised me to move back to this house because it was the right time for me to build a grand flat. So we moved back, and we are building a granny flat at the moment, so it's going to generate $16,800 per year passive income.
That's pretty good for a Sydney deal, $16,000.
Thank you.
So your second deal?
So the second deal is Western Sydney. It's a 2-bedroom unit. We did a full renovation. We spent $30,000 on the renovation, and the end value was $375,000. It's rented for $340 per week.
So it's just slightly negative, but it's in Sydney, and you like the Sydney market. Third deal?
Third deal, it's in regional New South Wales. It's a cash cow, and it's in a good area in that town. So I built a granny flat at the back. It generates about $10,000 passive income. So
it's got a granny flat on the back. You paid $153. End value is going to be $270. $10,000 a year passive income for that one deal in a regional little town.
Yep,
it's pretty good.
So the fourth deal is a regional again. This one I renovated the property, and then I used a rent to buy scheme to sell the property. The buyer that I chose, they didn't have enough deposits, but they're really keen on this property. So the deal that I proposed to them is a three-phase rent-to-buy scheme. In the first phase, I just rent the property on a normal lease to them. So the second phase is a fixed, so we fix on the price in the second phase once they have a deposit. And the third phase, obviously, they refinance with the bank.
So the person that's in it right now, paying you rent, wants to look after the place. You're going to give them an opportunity to come up with the next phase so that they can contract on it and then finally buy it via vendor finance.
Yep. So I have to guarantee to them that during their tenancy or before they have deposits, I guarantee not to sell the property to someone else. And in return, I ask them to pay above market rent.
So you said to them, place is worth $250 today. The contract price is $300,000 for the lease period. At that point in time, I might sell it. If you don't have the deposit, I'm going to sell it outside of that. Yep. If you do have the deposit, I'll sell it to you at $300. It's a pretty good, safe, low risk. Yep. Which is great. And again, the cash flow on this one's coming in at $6,000 a year. Doesn't cost you anything to keep it, so it's great. 5.
So it's Western Sydney again, 2-bedroom units. This one has a lot of problems. When I bought the property, the agent told me that, wow, this unit has drug problem, prostitutes, and drunk. So at that time, oh, that's good. Problems equals opportunity. So I bought it for cheap, even it's in Western Sydney. I renovated the property, and I got listed for rent. So when the property manager opened so all the prospective tenants come to the property to be inspected, the property manager opened the security gate downstairs. As soon as she opened the gate, someone lying down in the stairwell injecting drug. So no one wanted to.
But you thought goodbye.
Yeah, it's a goodbye. So. Eventually, I rented out.
The downstairs apartments, what were they doing in there?
Yeah. So there's a prostitute problem, not just in the unit, but probably there's not enough space. They expand their business to downstairs. Other owners in the complex told me that at night they saw the prostitute just put clothes on the floor, on the common area, and they just do their business on the ground floor. So the residents upstairs then can see everything on the ground.
Business is business. So
we actually took that unit to court. I played a main role in the owners' corporation. So eventually we forced them to sell the property, repay all the outstanding strata levy, and then I used the sinking fund to replace the stairwell, replace all the carpets in the stairwell with tiles.
Yeah, tiles are easy to clean. So, so we've used a very good technique that you've seen a number of success stories over the years use, which is using the sinking fund to take the value of a property higher in a owned body corp or owners corporation, which is exactly, and you took control of what you had to do. You did the leading because you saw the opportunity, and this is where it makes a difference. This is where someone like Richard, the success stories, come up and go, there's opportunity there, I'm going to grab it. So congratulations on that one.
Yeah, thank you. So the next deal is a straightforward cash cow in regional area. The tenants were there, so I didn't do the renovation. So once the tenants vacate, I will do the renovation.
So it's on its way. It's doing well. It's renting at $280 and you paid $152. That's positive cash flow straight up. Yep. And you've got more potential in that one. Number 7.
Yep. So this is a mortgagee sale. Obviously, you can see the price is very low. I make a low offer. So the bank just accept this offer just to cover the debts that they need to recover. So I spent $8,500 on this property to fix it up, and I got $5,000 passive income.
So again, really low end deal, end value 60 grand, but it's got 5 grand of income coming in, and you're kicking on doing amazing things. Obviously in Platinum, you realise that you're doing stuff, you're getting the support of the coaches in Platinum, and a couple of joint ventures come your way. Yep. So you do the first joint venture.
So the first joint venture is a Blue Mountains in Sydney renovation. We got it for $477,500. Sorry, 477,500. Wow, that offer was a bit tricky because we just increased our first little bit. Then eventually we got that price. So we did a full renovation. Our estimate price, sale price is $800,000.
So you got an estimated profit out of that 150. You're doing the servicing, they're providing the cash into that deal, and because obviously you're still employed and still getting salary coming in, which is great. Another $150,000. So that's the renovation partly way through. Then you go and find deal number 9.
So this is a regional strata titling deal. So it's a joint venture deal. We are working partner and servicing partner. So we are going to strata title this block into 3 units that we can sell individually.
So it's a good block. It's already got the firewalls in place. So you don't have to do any work. It's more just paper shuffle across the desk, which is great. There's another $50,000 there in equity uplift there. You haven't had enough. Go on.
So the 10th deal is a JV deal again. We are servicing and working partner. So this block is very interesting. They got 2 houses on 1 lot. And I talked to the council and the town planner, and I can very easily subdivide this property into 2 blocks. And estimate uplift is $100,000.
Which is good, which is great. So 10 deals. Did you get the girl?
Yes. So in this education and investment process, I involved Jane in this game. So we travel together, we attend boot camps and went to see properties and do property deals together. So when I felt it was the right time, I took Jane to Fiji for a holiday, and I proposed to her, and she said yes. So after 10 years dating, we finally got married. And also, if you look at the picture on the bottom left-hand side, you see I was fat. So at that time, my GP told me I was overweighted. I have high cholesterol. So after I attended boot camp, I saw Ian's nude photo. So I decided to change.
And become nude yourself?
No. So I decided to change my diet. I exercise. So I lost 15 kilos in 3 months. So as Kamal just told us this morning, without health and good relationship, money is no good for us. So it's a holistic approach to create wealth. So we have to have good health and good relationship.
So obviously there's a lot more that's going on for you. There's a lot more things that are important to you than the money, than the property, because it's given you so much more. What would you say to anyone that's there right now and looking at you?
So I guess the take-home message, the most important take-home message is love is energy, and you should use love to generate, and you should convert love to energy, and then convert energy to wealth, and eventually strengthen your relationship and strengthen your love again. So it's a positive cycle, and we should use this cycle to look after our family. So as a man, I think it's our responsibility to look after our family. And it is our responsibility to involve our family members in the wealth creation process. And if you involve them in this process, I think this is part of loving them. And also, to achieve financial freedom, we firstly need to have educational freedom. When I was in high school, I didn't have the educational freedom. When I was in university, I didn't have the educational freedom. When I did my master's in Australia, I even didn't have the educational freedom because I need to look at the immigration policy. So now I have the educational freedom, so I make the best investment in my life, that is to invest my education in property. So this is a really valuable journey. It's life-changing.
Is Jane here?
Yes.
Would you like to meet her? Yeah. Where are you, Jane? Where is she? Thank you. So tell us, what's it like to be married to Richard?
Well, I think that was definitely one of the best decisions I have ever made. Thanks for your persistence to make me as your wife.
Thank you.
But I was in tears. Actually,
However,
I don't think it was too bad to break up with you. Because after that, I felt both of us evolved. You know, especially after I got involved in the journey with Richard, after he started the journey with I Love Real Estate.
fabulous. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, Richard, tell us where you started from joining the community and where you're at now.
So since 2012, now I have 10 properties in my portfolio, 1 million in equity, and over $30,000 passive income. And I got the girl. And here I would like to take this opportunity to publicly thank Jane. I thank you for pushing me to become a better person. You pushed me to grow from a naive boy into a real man who has the power to look after his family. Thank you. So, Jane, you are the most influential woman in my life, followed by Dipna. And I thank you, Dipna, thank you, Ian, thank you all the coaches for your coaching and education, and I thank all my platinum mates and the entire community for your support. Without this education and support, I could not have been able to create this wealth. I would not be able to get this girl.
Thank you, Richard and Jane. Great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
I caught a glimpse of Dipna. In the middle of that, I caught a glimpse of Dipna, and it just works, sometimes. I want to tell a story about when I started going out with Christine. I tried to break up with her, and she wouldn't let me. So, and that was the best decision of my life. So.